Welcome to Javie's Late Show. Today I have Sue Ellen. She is the creator of BookBeat. You might watch it in a couple of other channels, or on YouTube. So, Sue Ellen, tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Sue Ellen Zagrabelny. That's why you didn't say it, because you don't know how to say it.
It's a tough last name.
It's not. It's all vowels in between everything. But my name is Sue Ellen, and I do BookBeat. I like books. I like to meet authors. So I spend a fair amount of time in the production side of doing BookBeat. I go to the Osseo Book Club is one of the places that I've gotten authors to come to my show, and I've gone to some like book fairs where they've had authors there and gone and talked to authors directly. And so I spend a fair amount of my time cultivating new shows, and so I work pretty hard on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you do now, but when you first had the idea of creating BookBeat, you became a member here. Do you know when?
2013.
2012.
12.
I have here 11, which is November 5th, 2012.
Okay.
That's when you became a member, and I think I was already here at that time.
Yeah.
And in that time, you came here. Was it stressful? Was it new to you? Like, how did you get in the role of doing what you do now?
Well, I started doing public access television in New York when I lived in Western New York at a place called Lockport Community Television. And I produced a show called Hospice Happenings. I worked for a hospice. And there was very limited things that you could do, and we were still editing tape to tape. So you can tell how long ago that was.
Yeah.
And that was pretty interesting to do, but we didn't have the kind of equipment that we have here, and so the staff did more stuff than we got to do. I got to do the editing, but a lot of the staffing in the actual producing of the show was staff driven.
I see.
So it's a lot better because we get to do so much more here.
And here, you produce everything. I mean, you are the director, the producer, the person that does everything. I mean, how do you feel? You've gained so many skills from what you're doing. But when you first came here, were you nervous? Learning more new skills? I mean, I was frustrated because I wanted things to be really good, and you guys made me look really good. And as I've gotten more and more skills, I have to ask for less and less help. Or when I ask for help, it's to do something pretty extraordinary, something that you don't necessarily learn in your orientation. More out of the box.
Something.
You're developing your skills, and you're understanding that you could do much more than what you could, what you are told to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, well, for instance, the opening and closing that I have now, I had tried to come up with something that was unique, so that when people saw it, they knew it was my show. And so Barb helped me do this animated open and close.
Pretty futuristic.
It is. It's pretty futuristic.
Yeah.
But it's the same music that I've used since the beginning of my show.
Yeah.
So they hear Amitra's dance, and they know it's my show.
It's your show. Yeah. So how long did it take you to create BookBeat? Because you had, your connections, which was, people who read books and going out to, different events and stuff. But when did you really understand, it's like, hey, I could make a show out of this?
It just came to me. When we went through the orientation in January of 13, it was I just said I want to do a show about books because that was the first thing I thought of, and it's something that I know, and I like going out and meeting new people and coming up with new strategies to tell people about good books and good authors. And initially, though, I started out filming book clubs.
Oh, okay.
And the first one I did was at my church. And as Jesse would tell you, it was pretty rough around the edges.
Jesse Stinsky?
Yes, Jesse
Okay.
Stinsky was my cameraman that day. And that was pretty rough around the edges.
I think you guys, I think that was, if I remember correctly, I think that was Jesse's like kind of like first time actually going out and doing the whole lighting and camera work and everything else. And you guys came back and I was like, oh, okay. It's like, this is really good stuff. And I saw you edit your first show and I was like, wow, I was like, you guys did a really good job. I mean, I did see some lights though, but
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, it was really
Yeah.
good. I mean,
Yeah, considering that we do not a scintilla of what we do, what's going on,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. And I've only had one stinker of a show so far, thank goodness.
Wow, that's
And that was
pretty good.
one of those things that happened that I got to the book club and nobody wanted to talk, nobody wanted to be on camera, and the people that did talked off camera. It was just dreadful.
Yeah. And I know you interview local authors also, right?
Yes.
So how do you get them to, because there's people that's going to be out there that want to do the exact same thing or something different, maybe with musicians or with, chefs or anything else like that, right? But how do you go from, calling them and setting up an interview with them? And like, what do you tell them? What do you ask them? Like,
Well, I talk to them about myself, tell them that I'm a volunteer with Northwest Community Television. I tell them about the show, and then I refer them to YouTube so that they can see some of my work. And that really kind of clinches it, that they see that I'm serious and that the kind of quality of show that I put out is good quality, and that they wouldn't be embarrassed to be seen on it. That's...
yeah.
And
Because people will be afraid to see something online of themselves and was like, man, I shouldn't have done that. Or,
Yeah.
I'll be like, that's nice,
Yeah.
But you give them something that actually looks like professional work. It's like, hey, this is what I want to talk to you about your book, and this is, the quality I present. So
right, and I always give my authors a list of questions ahead of time and ask them if there's anything that I've left off that they would like to be asked, so that I get out all the information about their book and about what they're working on next and so forth. And it really has worked well, and I've gotten some referrals from other authors. And there's a young publicist in town who heard about my work and contacted me here at the station, and she's referred a couple of authors to me as well. So I've kind of got a system going, and I'm booked 3 shows out now.
wow.
And I'm working on, I've got February, March, and April.
So you're staying busy. So you are going to be busy for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what else you have. But other than book beats, I mean, what else do you do? I know you go sing at choirs in church. I mean, tell me something about that.
I sing with the Mount Olive Cantorai, and the church is Mount Olive Lutheran Church in Minneapolis. And we have a very good choir. It's amazing. We rehearse 2 hours a week, and the kind of music that our cantor gets out of us is nothing short of amazing. We sing some some really pretty difficult things.
You have to, because the last time you came in, you said you spent maybe how many hours standing up again, just being in choir?
Well, a 2-hour stand-up,
That's a very long time. And that was just for practice also.
Yeah, it ends up being a lot of work, but it
definitely pays off though, right?
It definitely pays off, and we've got a great group of people, and that's half the fun is being with the people.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's just like coming here, right? I mean, you love, or I love. We love it when you come in because like I was telling you the other day, it's like I love the way you have like what's those things called again? Different sayings.
Oh,
for
my
things.
sayings.
Different sayings.
I'm trying to educate you young people so that when I'm dead and gone, they'll still have the same old sayings around that I learned from my parents and grandparents.
I hope I keep on doing those things. I mean, I already know maybe two, but
Yeah.
I still have a long way to go.
Well, it's my standard line of not worth a plug nickel. That's one of them. Taking my blocks and playing elsewhere.
I like that one.
I can't think of any others right off the top of my head. That's something that you say.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's fun, and I enjoy coming here because it's a wide variety of people. There's folks from different walks of life that I would have never met had it not been for Northwest Community Television.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I've seen here and a lot of stories, and I'm every day I'm always happy I work here. I mean, it's exciting to hear all these stories. But you live in Maple Grove, and you said you lived all over the United States. I mean, your favorite place was which
I was born in northern Minnesota.
Okay.
But I lived in several places in Minnesota as a young adult. And then because my job was changing and they were going to move me one too many times, I decided to move to California. So I lived in San Francisco for 10 years.
Wow.
And then I lived in Western New York for 8, in Illinois for 12, and I'm back home in Minnesota.
Came
very
back
happy.
with a big bang.
Yep.
Right?
Very happy to be back.
Yeah. And since you live in Maple Grove, you told me that your favorite place to go to
was Houlihan's, and it's
Houlihan's,
gone now.
So since that's gone, I mean, what else? I mean, you travel all around Maple Grove, so.
Well, we like to go. Probably our favorite place is Champs in Plymouth.
Okay.
That's by Ridgedale.
Okay.
It's one of the most fun restaurants and bars that I've been to.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that because there's like one person.
There's
that
one
knows you,
waitress that always waits on us.
Yeah.
And she is just sweeter than all get out and
Yeah.
so attentive. So we go there often.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like Maple Grove just simply because there's so much there and so much to do, and
it's a beautiful city.
It is.
I've driven through there for different things, and I was like, well, it's really big. And
It's very
really
big.
Nice. It's really well kept.
yes, it is. It makes me proud to drive through town, especially in the summer with all the beautiful hanging baskets.
And what was that one place we went to last time? It was they had like little instruments outside. It was like a little park.
Oh,
It was like right next to a library or something.
yeah,
like that?
it's the Maple Grove Green.
Okay. Yeah, because I think we went there for a shoot or something like that.
Yeah,
and I just
we
started
were-
playing around with like the instruments they had out there. I was like, this is really fun. It's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They have concerts there. They have things at the senior center. I've taken classes at the senior center. So there's lots of things to do. My housemate and I just enjoy getting to know the city more and finding fun things to do.
Yeah. Awesome. So what else? I mean, what else do you have to say about Maple Grove, or what else do we not know about Sue Ellen? I mean,
Well,
I know like so much, but it's like just.
you can't say it on. No, that's not true. I enjoy reading. I enjoy music. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music, but I'm probably a classical music fan of the most. My favorite classical music show is Friday Favorites on NPR.
Okay.
The DJ is Steve Sterrick, and he comes up with some of the best stories and some of the best information about these different pieces of music, and so I like that. I like to read. I love to travel. Don't get much farther than Wisconsin. I spend time at a monastery in Wisconsin several times a year, so it's nourishing the monk in me.
Yeah.
And so that's near Madison, Wisconsin that I go.
Okay.
And so that's lots of fun. I've got a whole circle of friends from that. And I have friends from New York, friends from Illinois, friends from California that I still stay in contact with. So I have a very full life.
Yeah, you do. Wow, that's exciting.
It is.
It's very exciting. So, you know, I forgot to ask you this in the very beginning, but, you know, for people who are planning to come in and do some productions and stuff, what would you like tell them? You know, like, would you tell them, like, it's tough work, but it pays off at the end, right? Or what is something that you would say?
Well, go with your passion. Find something that you really want to do. Look at what else is on the air. Find something that nobody else is doing. That's part of what I did, is nobody else was doing a book show like mine. So, and please don't start a book show and go in competition to me. Just kidding, but I can stand the competition. But find your passion. Find something that really interests you, that you're going to do something, either a big project or a couple half-an-hour shows or a couple hour shows, or do like I did, and this thing has grown into a life of its own. It's an hour show that I do one show a month, and it's because it's something that I really like to do, and it's interesting. It remains interesting. So don't pick what's easy. Pick what's going to be good, and that's the best advice I would have for somebody.
That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's like, you know, I went to, you know, I love film, you know, so I'm not doing anything else but working in television or film or, you know, anything else like that. It's like, if you really want to enjoy life, do something that you actually want to do. Don't wake up and dread what you're gonna go do. You know, you should wake up and be like, hey, I'm gonna go do this today. It's like, that's gonna be fun. Like today, I woke up, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do the Javie late show. But you know, I wasn't like, oh no.
I gotta do the
I was like, this is gonna be exciting because I have Sue Ellen, and I have a list of questions for her. So, yeah, I mean, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So, me and Roger, you know, the studio manager here at Northwest Community Television, we were talking about Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder is coming to town, and then, you know, he started telling me a list of songs. I want to say I'm a young kind of guy, you know, who doesn't know much about, you know, classic music, but Stevie Wonder has a list of songs, and I want to know, what's your favorite song by Stevie Wonder?
Ebony and Ivory.
Really? Okay. And why is that? Just because it touches me. Okay.
And I can't think of any others right off the bat, but that's the one that just popped into my.
I mean, I think that's, you know, if you had to think of, you know, something, and that's the one thing that pops, then that must be the one you must like, right? Mm-hmm. Ebony and Ivory. I'm gonna have to check that out then. Mm-hmm. All right. So, do you want to tell everybody about your show? I mean, it's the Book Beat, but you want to tell them when and where?
Sure. Book Beat takes place on Sunday at 5 p.m., Monday morning at 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Channel 20. And we have a great show coming up. It will be Charles Gibson with a book called Taking the Cross.
Awesome. Awesome. Book Beat. You have to watch it. I mean,
please do.
I check it out once in a while. I was like, oh, I should read that. But then again, it's like, you know.
Well, you gotta keep checking it out.
All right. Sounds good. Well, this was a Javie's Late Show. If you have any information or if you want to get in touch with us, you can always contact us at 763-278-4330 or at nwtt.org. Also, always check us out on Facebook or YouTube. All right? You guys enjoy your day, time, year, month, and so on. So, all right. Bye.